I was watching some interviews this morning on LeBron James. Has anybody heard of LeBron James? He's I don't know, he's kind of a big deal. And it was like a compilation of a lot of his interviews. And it was really interesting because I don't know everything about the man, but what I do know about him is he could beat me in basketball, pretty sure of that, and he seems to be a fairly remarkable individual. And I noticed a couple of things, well, I didn't notice, they put it together in this series of interviews, that he seems to always do. One, he seems to always share the praise. So no matter how well his team did, the interviews that I saw and that they highlighted, he was always sharing the praise about it being a team effort and about everybody coming together and about people not trying to hog the ball or hog the spotlight or try to get to the best position or try to do all that sort of thing. And it was remarkable because in most of the teams that he's on, he's the best player. And he didn't take all the praise himself. And he's not really known, as far as I understand, for being a ball hog. He sets other people up. He doesn't try to pad his numbers so he can be the best. He wants the team to win. Because he understands that when the team wins, everybody is brought up. And if the team loses because somebody isn't being a team player, everybody loses. So I was impressed by that. The other thing I was impressed with is he didn't blame anybody when they lost. So I watched this one clip where they lost pretty badly, and one of the reporters asked a question, and they said, hey, do you think that was rigged? Because a lot of those calls, they just didn't seem right or fair. And LeBron said something like, you know, I don't have time for thinking like that. And that's not my role or responsibility to say if it was or wasn't. Because we played our best. The other team won. Wow, right? So a lot of times in life, we kind of look at the situation. We look at the reporting criteria for what the government wants, or we look at insurance, what they're making us do, or they look at, you know, this patient treated me poorly, so I'm going to be in a bad mood for the rest of the day. Or they look at something is going on in my personal life, so that gives me justification to not show up to work. Or any excuse you want. But in the interview I saw with LeBron, he just said, listen, I don't have time for that. We played our best, the other team won. That's for someone else to decide. Pretty amazing. Third thing that he did in the interviews was he spoke about growing up without a father. And there's probably a lot of pain behind that. But what he did with that was he said, now look, I got to the position in life that I am in. I'm helping as many people as I can to have a role model, to have somewhere they can go and learn and become. It's pretty incredible. So he opened a school in Akron, Ohio, which is, I gather, where he's from. And he does a lot of things to help other kids so that they can learn and become and have support and all those wonderful things. So he took something in his life that was really painful and he switched it around. And he said, yeah, this is where I'm from. And it does define me, but it defines me in me making a difference in other people's lives, not in something that I'm ever going to let hold me back. I will never give somebody the power to hold me back from achieving my dreams. And he just passed right on through it because he saw the goal of helping others. He used that pain to make his life perhaps more enriched than it ever could have been otherwise. Pretty remarkable. I didn't really know a lot about him until I was watching some interviews on him and people talking about his character. But I think there's a lot to learn. I think there's a lot to learn for knowing that we're all part of a team. And how your day goes is going to have a direct correlation to how everybody else's day goes, and we interact with each other. Number two, he doesn't put blame on anything. Hey, these are the rules. We did the best we could, which fits in really nicely with our core values. And number three, he looked at painful things in his past, and I imagine he does it in his present as well, and says, how can I turn that so it doesn't have power over me, but I turn it into my dream life? I think that's pretty incredible. So maybe today we can ask ourselves, what would LeBron do? At least from the context of what we were just speaking about. I think it's really something that if we focus on, I think we'll be just as unstoppable. I still think he'll take me on the basketball court, though. All right, let's have a great day.